Hey, I'm Rachel J, and this is Cultivator Kitchen. Today we are doing my first video in the series for Raw Food June, and we are talking about how to get started with raw food. Hey everyone, it is the first video in my series for Raw Food June, and I am so excited. There'll be lots more coming, but this one is all about how to get started with raw food, what is raw food, why raw food, and some sample meal plans, and I'll talk about shopping lists as well. So what is raw food? Very simply, a raw vegan diet is all uncooked fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. Specifically, anything heated under 118 degrees Fahrenheit counts as raw. So this is natural, uncooked, whole plant foods. Of course, this doesn't mean you can't have warmed soups or a hot tea, and it's not about being restrictive or super strict with how raw something is, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But let's talk about first why you would want to try a raw food diet. It is a super healing diet. It helps the body cleanse and detoxify, so you're gonna have a ton of healing and cleaning happening naturally in your body. It's antioxidant rich and anti-inflammatory. Raw food is also full of enzymes, probiotic fiber, and other things you can't get if you cook your food. And of course, I'm not saying all cooked food is bad. I'm just talking about why raw food is so special right now. It's also full of minerals, phytonutrients, just the most nutrient dense, but not calorie dense diet that you can eat. So that is why I choose it. I'm a volume eater. I like to eat a lot of food, so foods that are low on the calorie density scale, namely fruits and vegetables, are the best for me, and they happen to be the things highest in nutrients. So I say always go with the nutrients, and that way you never have to count calories. There is so much more I could go into about why raw foods are awesome and how it's helped me. Hopefully you've watched my healing story. That will give you a little bit more background on how many different things I tried before I found what worked for me. So hopefully that will be helpful to you. But I'm just gonna keep that short and leave it at that. And if you have questions, you can leave them in a comment below. So the next thing is how to participate in Raw Food June. As you guys know, right now it's June, and I run a challenge that I've done for 5 years on Instagram. And if you want to participate, go to Instagram and use the hashtag #RawFoodJune, and then you can see everything that I'm posting. I post what I eat every single day, and you can get support from me and everyone else who's in the challenge. So a great way to get started is to try a challenge, try a week or 30 days raw, and do it with friends and get some support. And of course, the challenge I'm running is completely free on Instagram, and there's gonna be a lot more video content here. I'm not gonna go into it today, but I'm gonna have a whole video later this month on cravings and detox. So if you haven't yet, subscribe below and stay tuned for that. Okay, so we've talked about why raw food, what it is, and maybe a way to get started with some support. I also want to come back to the idea that this is not a restrictive diet. I eat way more variety of foods than I did when I was on a SAD diet or a standard American diet. That being said, it takes a large mental shift to go from the foods that you see everyone eating, the foods that are being advertised at you, and the foods that are in all the restaurants, to eating fruits and vegetables primarily. It's easy to do. It's easy to drink a smoothie or eat an apple, but it's mentally challenging to make that change. So the first thing I want to say is be gentle with yourself and don't get caught up in any worries about, oh, are cashews really raw? Can I have spring rolls if the wrapper is maybe not 100% raw? What if it's winter and I really want a hot tea? In my opinion, and the way that I do raw food, and everyone does it differently, is those things are all okay with me. So I try not to be strict, and everything that I'm eating, probably 98, 99% of it is raw, and maybe some of the condiments I use or little other things I have occasionally aren't, and I'm okay with that. So if you're just starting, which is why you're watching this video, please don't be hard on yourself and get support where you need it. So how can you start? There's really two approaches. And it depends on what kind of personality you have, which is gonna work for you. So the two main approaches are the overnight way and the stepped or metered approach. So the overnight or all-in method is kind of the way that I did it, and it's because I have a very all or nothing type personality. That can be a good thing and a bad thing, so I know that. So to do the overnight approach, you make a plan of exactly what you're gonna eat, you write down the type of foods you're gonna eat, you plan out maybe breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and then you clean your kitchen. You get rid of everything that's not on that list. And if you live with other people, you know, maybe you have a section of the kitchen, and you get rid of everything that's not in your food groups, and then you go shopping for all the new things, and the next morning you start fresh and you're doing it all in. For some people, that's the easiest way to start because they have a clear delineation from how they ate before and how they eat after, and they can just get right into it and it's easy for them. If that sounds really scary, then you might be someone who needs the second approach. The second way is to take a stepped or measured approach. And for some people who like to be more methodical and take their time, this is gonna be the better way for you. And I've seen a lot of people have success with this. So in this approach, you maybe take one meal like breakfast and you change that first, and you don't affect any of the other meals or snacks in your life. So let's say you wanna dabble and get into raw food, but you wanna take your time, have a green smoothie for breakfast every morning. When that starts to feel normal and easy to do, then you can change your lunch. So then maybe you add a salad for lunch every day. That's really portable, that's easy to order at a restaurant, and you just keep that up and keep being consistent, and you've added lunch onto breakfast. Once that feels easy and normal, then you change your snacks, make sure there's always some fruit around, something delicious that you love to snack on, and then before you know it, it's become easy and normal for you, and you've transitioned to all raw meals and snacks. That could take you a few weeks, that could take you a few months, and the real point here is however you need to start, have a plan. Either way, you need to know what are the foods that I eat and don't eat, and when am I eating, how much am I eating, and start to write that down. And of course, you want to plan ahead when you're starting something new. So you need to plan what to eat, you need to make your meals for yourself before you make meals for others, if that's the situation that you're in, and always prepare and take food with you when you're on the go. That will make this so much easier to do. The key is consistency. It takes 21 days for your taste buds to change so that you start enjoying more of the foods you're eating that don't have all the processed sugar and salt and fat in them. And ironically, it also takes 21 days, they say, to form a new habit. So it's going to take you at least the full month of Raw Food June to start really seeing that this is doable for you and really enjoying it to the maximum. So be gentle with yourself. And if you're someone like me who tends to use food to self-soothe, the best way to get through the month and to be gentle with yourself is to have some other things lined up that really make you happy and find other ways to help you get over the stress of changing your habits. So you can add in some walks, time in nature, whatever, music, whatever makes you happy. So have a plan, be consistent, and be gentle with yourself. This month is going to fly by and it's going to be awesome. And who knows, you might just keep going. This is really about creating a lifestyle that's doable, sustainable for the long term, and not just about trying it for 30 days. Next, I'm going to share with you some meal plan ideas, and then we'll talk about how to build a shopping list. And all of the recipes I'm mentioning are already on this YouTube channel and on my blog. So if you want to write down the ingredients and follow along with me, you can totally do this too. And if there's something in here you don't like, swap it out with something else. But I've picked things that are very easy to make, take less than 15 minutes, don't involve any dehydrated food or special equipment. So hopefully this will be really easy to start with. Example one of meals that I would eat in a day would be celery juice to start, then I would have my green smoothie for breakfast, maybe with some kale in there. My second meal would also be a smoothie. My cherry berry smoothie is really delicious if you want to try that. And then I would have celery with some dates on top as my snack. And for dinner, I'm gonna have a salad. I have a bunch of dressing recipes, pretty much pick your favorite. And I like to make my dressing with 2 or 3 servings so I can eat it over a few days. So that is my quickest and easiest day: smoothie, snack, and salad. My second example of what I would eat in a day would be to start with celery juice and a green smoothie again. I'm gonna have nice cream with berries on top. And then for a snack, I'm gonna have a big bowl of fresh cherries. And for dinner, I'm gonna have my rainbow slaw in lettuce wraps. Another example of what I would eat for the day without a green smoothie is I would have my celery juice, then I would have my raw vegan oatmeal, which is so delicious. That's also a great one if you're raw in winter and you're like, how do I replace oatmeal? That's a good one to try out. Or if you just are somewhere where you don't have a blender, it's a non-blender recipe. Then I would have my chia seed pudding for lunch, topped with a ton of fruit. You could put peaches or strawberries or berries. And my snack would be a bunch of apples. And for dinner, I would have my green pea soup. Okay, so that is 3 days of eating. And that is a lot of greens, no dehydrated foods, and everything takes less than 15 minutes to make. So this is a really easy way to see how I would change things up over the course of a few days. And these are all pretty budget friendly too. I'm not using any fancy, expensive ingredients. If you don't have something in your area, sub it out with something else. If you don't have strawberries, use raspberries, etc. And if you don't like celery juice in the morning, try cucumber juice. And if you don't like that either, maybe have some lemon water. The point is to get some hydration and nutrients in before you start eating for the day. All right, so how do we take those 3 days of eating and turn them into a shopping list? This was a question that I got in my Q&As, which I've already posted. If you want to watch that, you can see I answered everyone's questions that they had about Raw Food June for the kickoff, and I did that live, so it was really fun. And someone asked, how do I turn this stuff into a shopping list so I can go to the grocery store and get what I need? So I'll just share a little bit about my process and how I do that. So once I've written down those 3 days of eating and what meals I want to make, I will probably, just because I work a lot and I'm busy, decide that I'm going to have each of those probably twice a week. So I'm gonna repeat some meals. So let's say that that will last me 6 days. So then from that, I'm going to pull up the recipes for each of those and write down the ingredients for each of the recipes on a piece of paper. So I'm gonna have a whole list of all the meals I wanna make, and then I'm gonna write down all the ingredients underneath them. Then I take a second sheet and I start lining up the ingredients that are similar. So I know if a bunch of those recipes have bananas, let me consolidate bananas and then write how many I need. And then I also like to organize my grocery list by aisle in my grocery store. So for every grocery store, that's gonna be different, but I shop by where things are. I don't know if you guys are that methodical like I am. Most everything I'm gonna buy is in the produce aisle anyway, but I like to line things up based on where I know they are. So if that helps you, try that out. So in this example, I'm going to need lots of bananas. I'm gonna need some dates and greens and lettuce and chia seeds, berries and cherries, and then all the veggies for the slaw and the soup. I'll also need to buy my dressing base, whether that's gonna be hemp seeds. For whatever your favorite salad dressing is, you can feel free to pick one from my channel or whichever one you like to make. It could just be tahini and lemon whisked up with some spices. So once I've written those simple things down, even though I'm having, it sounds like a good variety over the course of those 6 days, right? I listed a bunch of different meals and snacks I could try. I've really only got a list of maybe 10 items that I need to get at the store. And I always keep extra salad dressing. As I mentioned, I'll try to make 2 or 3 servings of my favorite salad dressing so I can have it over a few days. And salad is always my backup if I don't feel like making something more complicated, or if I'm extra hungry, then I'll just add in a portion of salad. It's always good to get more greens in. And if you're new to raw food and you've been eating probably more calorie dense food, you might find that you need more volume and you get more hungry. So feel free to do that as well. So that's it. That's my process for how I map out what meals I'm gonna have, how I make it work for the week, and then how I organize my shopping list. Let me know if you guys found that helpful or if you want me to go into more detail later on something and maybe share some written down examples. I actually don't use paper anymore because I have an app on my phone for grocery shopping. So whatever is gonna work, go ahead and let me know below what you guys do to do your meal planning and grocery list. Thank you so much for listening. I'm really, really happy you guys are here. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you'll be notified every time I post a new video, and come over to Instagram and join the Raw Food June challenge. And I will see you guys next time I make new videos on Tuesday and Friday. All right, bye.